welcome to All Things Altron FinTech, the podcast that dives into the deep world of FinTech, breaking down the trends and tech that are shaping our financial future. I'm your host, Kutlano, and today we're stepping into the future of finance, where digital transformation is not just a buzzword, but the driving force behind everything from customer experience to regulatory shifts. In today's episode, Navigating Digital Transformation, we'll explore the innovative trends defining 2025 and solutions and the evolving landscapes of digital payments and open banking to the critical focus on cybersecurity and data privacy. Whether you are a fintech enthusiast, a professional in the field, or just curious about where your money is headed, this episode has something for you. Now, so before we can start, let me just first introduce our guest, Johan. You've been here before. I'm sure you know how it goes. You're not a stranger to this. And I see you love it so much you had to come back.
Thank you.
And today we also have Charl. So if you can just introduce yourself to our listeners who don't know who you are and what you do for Altron FinTech. You can go.
Can I go first? Thank
Yeah.
you. Charl van Rensburg. I head up 3 operational areas in FinTech. The transaction switching, payment terminals, and our interest product in the market, card personalization products.
Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Johan, and I'm the MD of Altron FinTech.
Short and sweet. All right, let's get straight into it. So, can you guys now share with us, with terms of exploring the 2025 trends, to set the stage? Can you share some of the top trends you believe will shape the fintech landscape in 2025 or in future, and what or which trends are you most excited about?
I think there's quite a few. If we look at our product ranges, the product ranges is on the terminal side and switching, and how we manage from an acquiring perspective our merchants and how we assist them. So there's quite a few. I think one of the big trends that will come, it has been and it will continue, is with the Android devices that we provide, and the actual software on those devices is making it more important, and how that software is able to integrate into different payment platforms, and change the customer behaviors, providing more accessibility to payment tokens. So I think that is one of the more important trends that we see from a device perspective.
Yeah, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, what we're seeing in the market, that the price point of the devices is bordering on the device becoming a commodity. So the importance of the device, which in the past was very important, because under the Linux operating system regime, that was very important. But now with devices running the Android operating system, we see there's a shift and a movement into the device becoming a business tool rather than just a payment acceptance device. So if you've flown some of the airlines in our country that sell you stuff while you fly, and they use the terminal for payment, you will notice that they also have got apps for manifest control, attendants who are attending in the back, and who is the pilots and the co-pilots. So they're using the device for more than just the payment environment. And we're going to see that proliferation of how this device is used going forward. We're preparing ourselves in that this device will have multiple applications on the device. And having multiple applications on the device, you'll have to manage these multiple applications. If I can use the analogy, if you use your smartphone now, you've got the ability to download apps on the device, and should some of those apps require you to do a payment, you can do the payment from the app, and the device then steers you into the payment rails of doing the transactions. So we're seeing that the future of these devices will get into that smartphone construct. Are we there now? No, I don't think we're there now. So we're preparing for ourselves for having our own intellectual property and how we manage apps, how we verify applications, how we make sure those applications are secure. how we make sure that there's not bad actor applications in the stores that would like to harvest your personal detail of some of these payment devices. And we have to protect our customers as well, especially the customers in the retail industry that accept a lot of card payments. So we're also going to see a lot of tokens, payment tokens being accepted via the platform. Today we've got the BNPL providers, we've got static and dynamic QR codes, we've got the ability to vend vouchers that you can purchase from various providers. So the tool is going to become a business tool rather than just a payment acceptance device. And then the challenge for us really in the future is how do we change this African payment system? Because there's, depending on which research that you do read, is the informal economy size is anything between 250 and 750 billion rand. So that's still a cash transactional environment. So our challenge here is how do we take in the developed world's product sets and to migrate that into the cash environment, and then also get them financially included in the South African payment system. For that, we have to evolve our payment system, and to us that's a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge because we now get the opportunity to do something different in our territory and South Africa, which in the past was not possible. And that's just a short insight of how we're looking at the South African payments world.
Now, Johan, to touch on that financial inclusivity, right, and access to services, this is a topic now that's on everyone's tongue, and it's very interesting as we are witnessing the evolution of payments now, moving into this cashless society, this digital money phase and future that we're looking into. FinTech has the potential to promote financial inclusion on a global landscape, right? What are some of the innovations in this space we should expect in 2025, especially for underserved populations?
So what we as Altron have done, and Altron specifically has been tasked with that, we've joined a group of non-bank fintechs in the country, and we're working closely together to work on a few streams of how we believe we should make an effort to change the current payment system with. Specifically focused on your opening question, how do we financially include the excluded financial people in the country? And those work streams are working very hard at approaching and engaging with the SARB. And I'm very encouraged with the progress we've made, and especially the openness of the regulating environment in South Africa to sit with us, talk to us, hear our challenges, and the SARB are serious. I mean, I can vouch for that. They want to change the payment construct and the payment system for the better. I personally feel that it's not a consumer cost-friendly payment system. So we can do an awful lot to actually make it a cost-friendly environment, especially if you want to address the informal sector. I mean, if you just take the journey of somebody that lives in those areas, they get off the taxi, they're on their way home, they go past a few vendors. Not all of those vendors are in a position to accept a digital payment. So it's predominantly a cash transaction. And how do we get those vendors also part of the broader payment system, and how do we include them in the broader payment system? Because they've got the challenges that we had 50 years ago, which you cash in your premises, cash in your back pocket. There's always bad actors that want to take your cash out of your back pocket, and we need to protect them as well, and the vendor and the consumer, and that is our obligation, and that baton we as Altron FinTech has firmly got on our hand. And we want to make a difference. And that's why we're part of this group of non-fintechs that wants to get together and put our minds together. Because all of us are entrepreneurs and all of us are innovators. and all of us are part of the payment system. And hopefully out of all of that lot, we can create a better payment system for Payment System South Africa 2.0.
Now, in one of our episodes, we spoke about how people, or rather customers, are loyal to what's comfortable for them. And right now, for most, cash is still king. And, whenever we talk this digital transformation, there's a lot of fear that comes with using the technology. So cybersecurity and data privacy is one of those biggest fears that people have out there. So, Charl, with the rise of digital transformation, cybersecurity remains a critical concern. How can fintech companies best protect customer data as digital threats evolve? What proactive measures are top companies already implementing?
No, thank you for that. I think, to be very straight up is, the compliance and security is one of our basic pillars of providing financial services or providing card and payment services in this industry in South Africa. So we are very conscious of how these things are impacted, what we need to do to stay compliant with all the regulations. And we've got a big team of people looking after the compliance there. There's a lot of education that goes into this. So we make sure that everybody in the organization understands their roles and the requirements for them to be proactive in servicing that. And we use the latest technology as well. So part of that is how do we protect is with our OEMs, is the technology we're using, is the I want to say the best of brand technology on our payments devices side as well as on the switching side. So we've got partners that actually look after those compliance as well. And we use the same or similar technology that the banks are using. And so we're all in that same space, but security and compliance is very much a daily operation.
So I just want to add to what Charl said. So we don't have a business if we're not compliant. The regulation is extremely important for us. I want to take you back to 2008, where the financial meltdown took place in the world. South Africa largely avoided that because of the good regulators that we have in the country. So we have to thank them that we sidestepped that bomb that was thrown at the world. So for us, I've got the huge respect for the regulators, and we as a listed entity can't afford to slip up on any of these certifications. So we follow international certifications, local regulation that's required for us to conduct our business. And for us, that's top of mind. Every year we get audited by a few independent parties, and that is just part of us running our business. We can't have a business if we don't comply with regulation in the country and the certifications of the international card payment associations.
All right, still on data privacy, cybersecurity. Now, Johan, can you explain maybe to our listeners who don't even know what open banking is? So now we're talking open banking and data sharing. Open banking has made waves, especially with regulations pushing for greater data access and transparency. How will open banking continue to change ways our customers interact with financial services, and what challenges should we anticipate?
So we're very fortunate as Altron FinTech to have a number of banks that we work with, and we often get together in talking around how we remove the friction between our business and banks. And let me just put it out there. Altron FinTech cannot exist if you don't have a sponsor bank for the products and the services that we offer into the market. So it's of paramount importance that we have to work with the sponsor banks and the traditional banks in the country. So these banks have acknowledged that yes, we're an innovative entity, and with innovation comes pushing the boundaries. So we as Altron FinTech push the boundaries on a daily basis. So we are pushing the banks to open up their back office system, so to speak, that we can actually electronically integrate in their back office, other than an email, because an email is antiquated. So some of the banks have opened up their what I call their sandpits. So we're trialing lots of products and services in those sandpits of the next frontier. So we want to make the whole process of onboarding a merchant, onboarding a customer, getting a customer in production as frictionless as possible. And we want to take out that complexity that you as a merchant have in this country of providing an alternative payment experience other than cash. So that is today lots of friction in there. First of all, you have to apply for a merchant account number. Then you only get a debit and a credit card payment option. Now, if you want to accept payment tokens from token providers, you have to now get into a commercial arrangement with those payment token providers if you want to accept BNPL tokens as a payment method. So the poor merchant who only wants to sell their goods and services, they're now stuck in this mode of who's going to assist them to make all these tokens available on the platforms. So our vision is to have that in our app store. So should you now elect to vend tokens of commercial party A, B, or C, or D, you can download those tokens and we will vend that via our payment terminal to the merchant. So we're trying to remove the friction and the difficulty and to get this complexity out of the whole payment system, which there has been and still is today. So we've got a journey to go. So banks is assisting an awful lot with that. So they're giving us application programming interfaces, and that's very technical for me. So I only know the acronyms description. I don't know actually what it does. But they're opening up those roles for us and those avenues into their back office systems so that we can make the journey for the merchant frictionless and as simple as possible for them to be a customer of ours.
Now, Charl, with simplifying complexity, right, we are adding personalization and customer experience.
Yes.
As customers look for highly personalized services, how can fintech companies leverage data to enhance that customer experience? And what are some of the personalization trends that will redefine customer interactions in future or in the coming year?
So I think the software applications that we provide and the services from a payment perspective is driving these interactions to a device. And what we're really aiming to do is to provide that device as your single point of entry in a merchant. So we are providing software. We provide the capabilities for any third party to integrate into that software to drive their customer experience, because we don't know necessarily all the interactions that customer will have at the store. But what we're definitely doing is to providing him with as much options as possible. As Johan mentioned now, from different card sets, from different token providers, and to make that as seamless as possible. And in the world where we play, a lot of the discussions is around this one touch. So I just want to touch the thing once, but I want everything. I want that device to do everything for me. So that's sort of the driving force behind, and the Android devices and the capabilities and the software development capabilities we have, we are able to drive those conversations with customers. So our customers would be a merchant that owns a device, and we want to make sure that he is able, or that person or that institution is able to accept as many tokens as possible from any customer. Because eventually it goes about they want to sell goods and they want to make sure that goods is paid for before the customer leaves, and that reconciliation happens in between. So they want to make sure that the cash is, if it's not cash, card or tokens, are getting paid. So I think that's the mix where we find ourselves. It's a special place because I think we're very excited of how these things are moving and what is happening. But the interface to the devices and the software makes these customer experiences better. Because now it's not like this Linux device sitting on the table. We all know the black thing is going to come out and it's going to say yes or no. Now there may be a different experience on the device, and there may be pictures of the clothing or the items that's being bought, and you can actually see so it will be a different customer experience from a device perspective, rather than where it was just the older devices that did not have the capability. So we see it more of a business tool. We see our partners enhancing, bringing in inventory management on the device. Different types of conversations can now happen. Is there enough stock of this? Do they buy it just from the device? Do they actually have to go into the store? These are, I think, without elaborating too much, but there's definitely the concept of assisting our customers to how to assist them to bring a better customer experience in. We're certainly looking forward to the new year. I think there's two things forward of mine is the changes that's happening from the compliance from a regulatory point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's certainly for me a something to look forward to. And as Johan mentioned, we've got lots of engagement at the moment, and we are quite keen on understanding what that would look like. And having said that, we can also see that we are positioned well for whatever it's going to come from there. So being to say, listen, maybe there's some open banking conversations, maybe there's some settlement conversations where we can partake in different levels in that regulatory framework. I think we're super excited about those outcomes.
So the SARB has set very aggressive timelines for them, for wanting to change the payment system in South Africa. And that's very exciting. I mean, and we're following that quite closely. And what the challenge is for us there is how fast can we adopt those changes in the payment system. So if you have a look at the SARB's introduction of PayShap, we are fully integrated into the PayShap rail, and we make use of that rail extensively. I mean, we pivoted away from the old rails, and we're using the PayShap rail now virtually exclusive. Not entirely yet, but not all banks are participating banks in the PayShap payment stream. So we've adopted that. So for us, the next frontier on that is request to pay. So where the merchant will be able to also make use of the technology that was introduced. So these are the exciting things that we're waiting for happening in 2025. So we're going to follow the SARB in step. And fortunately, we're on the committees and we're present in the SARB discussion, so we know what's coming down the line. And just as we did when we adopted DebiCheck, I mean, the SARB decided with BankServe that in PASA that DebiCheck is the new transaction type that will replace ADO and NADO. So we worked on that for a number of years, and when they drew the line in the sand, we were ready to offer that service to our customers. So that's our challenge for going forward. I'm hugely excited about what we as a leadership team have embarked on. So how do we address the informal sector with our products and our services, and what segments in the informal sector is our products and our services suited for. So I'm hugely excited about that. And then technology will be technology. I mean, who knows what will be dreamt up next year? But being close to that, I think our team will be able to facilitate that, and we'll be able to pivot, and we'll be able to comply with whatever regulation they bring on us. So that's for me a hugely exciting year. So for me, next year will be a defining year for us in terms of South Africans, not for us as a business, but South Africans, because I think good things are going to come out of the payment system next year.
Indeed. So thank you, Charl and Johan, for your insights and your predictions for the future. And to our listeners, thank you for joining on this journey through the trends and the tech driving the future of FinTech. As we've seen, digital transformation isn't just a shift. It's a total reimagining of finance as we know it. And from how we interact with our banks to how businesses thrive in hyper-connected worlds, cybersecurity and data privacy will continue to be foundational, ensuring our digital future remains secure and trustworthy. If you enjoyed this episode and want to keep up with the latest in FinTech, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share, comment with others, and whoever wants to stay ahead of the curve with FinTech. Join us on our social media. Until next time, keep innovating and stay curious. The future of finance, it's just around the corner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.